In this video, I will show you how to install the tail end of this TR6060. If you haven't checked out part one, go check it out. I start from a bare main shaft and build this whole transmission up. With the main shaft in and the case on, I'm ready to finish off this transmission. Looking down on the back side, we'll start off with our spacer. You'll notice we have a needle bearing and a spacer. The spacer goes down first. And then we got our 6th gear. And you're definitely going to want to mark the tab locations for this synchro because things get a little tight right here when we're putting this hub on. All right, now this hub is going to need a little persuasion to get on. And remember, we got to line up these slots with the slots on the synchro. That's why we marked them. And my grind mark was facing up when I took this apart, so we're good there. And I'm going to take my brass punch and just tap that thing all the way down. And I'm going to check. We are in fact in the slots. Just keep an eye on that synchro ring. You can see how it's keyed in there. There we go. And then our fork goes on. I'll find my grind mark. Here it is, right here. My grind mark on my slider. And we should have enough grease on here that it should slide right on from before. There we go. Our grind marks are lined up right there. And our little keys pop in. And then a snap ring. And just another note, these are directional. The pointy end, the narrower end, will face upward. That way, when you put your snap ring pliers in there and expand them, the pointy end will have something to grab. If you put these in backwards, it's going to give you a really hard time to get them off if you have to take them off for whatever reason. Nice tight fit on there. It's also good practice to not overstretch these snap rings. I like to just expand them just enough to slide them down the shaft to have a nice snug fit. And a synchronizer. Now we have our 5th gear. So again, it's going to go to the spacer, needle bearing. If you guys are ever curious on where the spacer goes, you can actually look at the highlighted areas on the shaft. If you look closely, you can see that the spacer would go first and the needle bearing. And then our gear. And again, I'm lining up the key slots on the synchro with the slots on the gear. You'll see it drop down right there. They're lined up. And then a thrust washer and another snap ring. And then we got a snap ring for that fork. Can't forget that. It can be a little tricky to get in there. All right, now 5th gear is going on. And this was a tight fit getting off, so I'm gonna work it down with my punch. Now this is a long way to punch this thing down. Just be careful you don't nick any teeth. So I use a brass punch. I ended up switching to a piece of aluminum stock. But once that 6th gear gets closer to its mating 6th gear, just wanna make sure those teeth are lined up so you don't chip any of the teeth. And then we got the split washer, lock washer thing. Basically, you put the 2 halves in. On the top one. That's got to be tapped down as well. So I'm going to try to use a 1.1/8" socket. Just make sure that you're hitting here and not the teeth. Hit the teeth, you chip a tooth, you're done. Notice I'm not wailing on this thing. I'm just nice, gently tapping it down. If it's not going down, doesn't mean you hit it harder. That means that you're either not lined up with the splines or something else going on. A little bit more. We're hitting the splines on the inside of the socket, so try 1.25". There we go. All the way. And a snap ring. Got our reverse fork. Remember, this side goes down because all that does is stop the keys from popping out, because there's nothing that engages that way. I need a little tap. Got another snap ring. Synchronizer. Reverse gear. Remember, line up the slots. Needle bearing. Rust washer. And a snap ring. And before I finish off with the last bearing, can't forget this snap ring on here. And last but not least, our rear bearing. Throw a little grease on that guy to help with the tail housing. They kind of stick out when it's sitting like this, but they should be straight. They're not a tapered. At least I don't think they're tapered rollers, but just the way it's sitting, they're kind of out like that. So when you go to put the tail housing on, it might stop you from getting it in the race. So a little grease kind of helps them, you know, stay straight and help you slide it in. And the final piece. All right, for this TR6060, usually the Corvettes, they have an inner and outer rear seal. Just pay attention that they are barely different sizes. It's hard to see on camera. I can feel it with my fingers. And I believe the bigger seal goes on the outside and the smaller goes on the inside. They may have different dots to indicate inner and outer. So this would be outer, this would be inner. All right, so they need to be tapped out from the inside out, and same thing with installing from the outside in. There we are. All right, all nice and clean in there. You can see, but there's a little edge right here, and it sits inside of here. I think that's it. Looking good. Just like to make sure I'm flush with the seal on the inside edge all the way around, and we are looking good. Because if that seal's not in all the way and you go and put the other one in, kind of screwed. go, nice and flush. Put a little grease in there. All right, I like to put grease in this hole right here, a little bit right here, especially on that this little bushing that sticks out. And if you haven't put grease on that bearing, you know, put a little bit on the race, wouldn't hurt. These get torqued to 26 foot-pounds, same as the front. All right, just gotta get this front cover on, and this thing's a wrap. Now for the detent roller and spring, it will go on the middle slot on the rail as long as you're in neutral. This spring and detent roller will sit inside the top cover. There's two different types of bolts. There's these two Torx head bolts. They have a little raised edge here, and it locates everything properly, and they go in the two corners here. Now the cover's gonna fight you a little bit. It's not gonna wanna sit flat because of that spring tension. I would get them all started first, snug down the Torx head bolts so everything's located, and snug the rest up. And the last piece of the puzzle, reverse lockout. Just a little grease on that O-ring. Well, that's going to do it for this one, guys. If you found this video useful at all, or it helped you put your TR6060 back together, hit that like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And I can keep creating how-to videos with these Tremec 5 and 6 speeds because there's always something to learn. I didn't cover like every little tip and trick. This video is mainly focused on assembly order and orientation. But if you search around my channel, you may find another video out there to learn more. If you're looking for parts or a rebuild, I'll leave my email below. Thanks for watching, guys.